Hey everyone, it's Tony from Mr. T's Toys, the place to review and discuss vintage and modern toys and geek out over fandoms from today and yesterday. And today, I've got some of my Incredible Hulk toys out. Well, actually, they're not all mine. A couple of them are my son's toys. And that's because I've left mine in the package or I have it buried in a display that I didn't want to disassemble. So I've used a combination of some of my Hulk toys and some of my son's toys to come up with a little bit of a display here and talk about one of my favorite superhero slash monsters, the Hulk. Incredible Hulk was first introduced to us out of the mind of Stan Lee and art of Jack Kirby back in 1962 in the Incredible Hulk #1. And right from the get-go, it was kind of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type of story where we've got a scientist, Dr. Bruce Banner, doing some various work with radiation, and there's an accident, and he gets shot with some gamma radiation and turns into the Hulk. For me, my first time being introduced to the Incredible Hulk was actually from the Lou Ferrigno and Bill Bixby live action TV show from the 1978. Well, it started in 78. I think I was only 2 at the time, but it went for 5 seasons. So I remember watching that really young, and then obviously watching reruns, but I absolutely loved it. And apparently I would pretend to get angry and transform into the Hulk. I'd take it out on my stuffies. But there was something about getting angry and turning all muscular and strong and being indestructible. And that was part of the challenge for Dr. Bruce Banner. If you go back to whether it's the comics or the TV series, he was a scientist trying to go forward and experiment, and there'd be something that would cause him some stress, either physical or mental, and when he got angry, he would transform into the Incredible Hulk. And in that form, pretty much indestructible, unlimited strength. The angrier he got, the more power he had. The one series that I actually watched quite a bit as a kid was from 1982. There was actually a 13-episode TV series, and it came out, I believe, around the same time that there was Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. They would play the Incredible Hulk as well, and that was a good. It seemed to be very palatable for a kid to get into. It had Bruce Banner's friend Rick Jones, and his girlfriend and fellow scientist Betty Ross, and then Betty's dad, General Ross, who was a general in the military, and would end up bringing military forces to fight the poor Hulk whenever the Hulk would transform. They saw him as a monster and not really a superhero at all. Now, of course, in the Marvel cinematic universe, we see him portrayed as the hero that he is. He's one of the Avengers, and he was a founding member of the Avengers back in the 60s, back in the day. Some of the toys that I've got here, this is one of my favorites. This is Marvel Select, early Marvel Select Hulk. They just don't make them like this anymore. This is a good 5 pounds of plastic. The sculpts on these Marvel Select Hulks, absolutely amazing. For what it is, the articulation, it's okay. You can get good enough poses. I mean, obviously, they don't really have the same type of mobility. There's no ab crunch, extra shoulder blade joints or anything, but but you can see some of the detail here. And this is just like, this is a hefty figure. Like, this is something that you wouldn't want it to drop off a shelf and hit your child. It would cause some damage for sure. So this is more of a classic Hulk sculpt depiction of the Hulk that I've fallen in love with over the years. Here's an early Marvel Legends Hulk, from the early 2000s. That face, that grimacing, angry face, the ripped, tattered clothing. It's just something that is scary, but then there's something you kind of empathize with him a little bit. He just doesn't want to be angry. I've got a couple examples of some of the Hulks from the movies. This one here's got a little action feature in it. I don't think he's going in for a hug. I think he's doing some type of smashing motion. Over here, I've got a fun Hulk figure, a Savage Hulk, this is the Savage Hulk as well. So that's kind of the early versions of the Hulk. The story was he didn't have a whole lot of brain power. Over the years, there's been different plot lines and different scenarios where he had some of Bruce Banner's intellect and still the strength and power of the Hulk. But in this form here and this early toy, this was the Savage Hulk that was more simple, but also like just these early Diamond Select figures. This is just heavy. This one's heavier than that one. It's you can see how wide he is and the size of his head, but it is just it's a heavy toy. It's I don't think they're making these Marvel Select toys for kids, but who could lift them? Goodness. But this series here is from the 90s animated series, this toy line, and it's Toy Biz. You can kind of see in the corner here. It's Toy Biz as well from the 90s. I've got it's actually pretty interesting. They don't look as good, but you got some decent cross sell. What it shows on the back. And I had all of the Hulks from this line. There's a couple of the villains that he would battle in that animated series from the 90s. There's a Gray Hulk and a couple other versions of Hulk. I've got them. I absolutely loved. I was just getting into collecting toys in the 90s, and so I was able to come across some of those, and was very fortunate that I did. But for me, if you're posing, you want to make some nice pictures for Instagram or what have you, Facebook, using these Marvel Select next to say a Marvel Legends, I think they scale right. See, I think my Hulk should be 2 times the size of a regular man, if not bigger. This guy back here, he's even bigger. We're not going to move him. He's in place in the back there. But I've got an Iron Man here from Marvel Legends, and you can just see the size difference. I mean, he's the size of his arm almost, and that just makes for if I got one of my Wolverines out, you can have a good battle, recreate Hulk 181. But for now, we can just see if Iron Man would be able to do anything in his regular stealth armor. I think he would. He definitely needs some Hulkbuster armor. He doesn't stand a chance here against our Hulk. So, fun toys. If you can find early Marvel, the Diamond Select Hulks, highly recommend adding them to your collection. The newer ones that are available, they're still big. But I don't know if they're hollowed out more or what the case. I've got a couple in my collection. They're not as heavy as these first couple, but the sculpts are still all great and great addition to any Marvel superhero fan. And they certainly have a place here in Mr. T's Toys. Hope you enjoy the video. Please like and subscribe.